Kevin Gaskell, welcome to the conversation today.
Thank you. Great to be with you. Absolute pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to be with you. You're joining us from the Oxford area. I'm south of Salt Lake City in Utah. Today, we're going to be talking about building high performance cultures and really unlocking discretionary effort of the members of our team. And I love this topic. I think, high performance is something I think we all hope to be able to unlock. And there's healthy ways to do it, unhealthy ways to do it, sustainable ways, unsustainable ways. You've been an executive in so many different contexts in so many different organizations. So it's going to be a real pleasure to sit down and chat and really pick that brain of yours as we explore this together today. As we get started, I wanted to share your bio with everybody. Recognized as the man who fixes businesses, Kevin Gaskell has an impressive track record in building and leading successful companies. As managing director of Porsche, Lamborghini, and BMW, Kevin led hugely successful turnarounds and business growth. Today, he remains actively involved in numerous companies worldwide as both an investor and founder, including the UK's fastest growing B2B fibre network provider and Radical Motorsport, the world's largest race car manufacturer. Gaskell's entrepreneurial approach to business has earned him numerous accolades. He was recognized as one of the UK's top 40 leaders, reflecting his exceptional ability to inspire teams to transform companies and achieve exceptional and extraordinary results. His focus on developing innovative strategies and building high performance cultures has been instrumental in driving business growth and success. Now, I could go on, like, there's so many things you've done, so many things you've accomplished, but I'm going to pause there. Anything you would like to highlight by way of your own background or personal context before we dive on into the conversation?
No, not really. I mean, look, I'm an engineer by training, and then I studied accountancy. And I was very lucky. I was running Porsche when I was 32. So I've been doing this a long time. And it's all about people. It's all about
Yeah,
people.
that's right. Yeah, it is all about people. People are what drive the creativity, the innovation within the organizations that you work, and I think that's a great way to start the framing here. Building high performance cultures, like everyone wants that. I think everyone, at least rhetorically, they know that that's important. Yet, when we get into organizations and when, where the rubber meets the road and, you get into the daily grind, we all know that, a lot of times cultures aren't so high performing. They're often not so positive in their culture that, a lot of times there's toxicity. A lot of times there's unproductive, dynamics. There's a lot of times there's just all sorts of different things that are going on that are hindering the the possibility of people really leveraging and maximizing their human potential. Um, you've led so many different organizations, so many business turnarounds. What do you do when you go into an organization where the culture's bad, there's toxicity, there's poor performance? What are those first steps when you go in to just align people and create that high performance culture?
Sure. Well, the first part is to listen. You don't go into a business. I've been dropped into 15 companies, and you don't go in and start telling people what to do. It doesn't work like that because what right do you have, even as the CEO in my case, what right do you have to tell people what to do? What you do is you go in and you listen and you start to understand and you gather the facts. And then you introduce people to the truth. There's only one version of the truth. And you need to let people understand where we are as a business, where we're currently performing and where we need to go. And you don't dress it up. People are not stupid. People know what's going on in their business. They have a feeling that things are either going well or not going so well. So it's about being honest, giving people the truth, but then letting people realize that we can create something that's extraordinary because I passionately believe that ordinary people can achieve extraordinary results. My job as a leader is to build a team of leaders, but then to build a culture where we invite people on the journey. And people often say to me, well, what does that look like? What are the numbers? I said, forget the numbers. Just forget the numbers. If we want to score goals, goals are the score. I get that. But if we want to score goals, we've got to be a great team. So let's focus on being a great team and let's understand what it is we're setting out to achieve. So it's about truth. It's about gathering facts by listening. And then it's about inspiring people by letting people see that we can go out and create something that's extraordinary. And that's not, don't talk about $10 million profit. That doesn't excite anybody. Let's talk about being the best in the world. Or let's talk about a vision that's clear, that's concise. This is where we're going to go. And when we get there, this is what people will see. This is how they'll see us. This is what our clients will hear when they speak to us. But more importantly, this is how we'll all feel. This is the culture we'll build where we feel that we're part of this. And I invite people on a journey. I say, come with me. Let's go and build something that we're proud of, that we can look back on and say, hey, look what we built together. And John, today, the market's a tough old place. The world's a tough old place. You're in the USA, I'm in the UK. There's a certain guy in Washington who's having a very big impact on all of my businesses at the moment. I'm sure he doesn't know and he doesn't care, but it's a tough old place to be right now. And so often when I get asked to speak to businesses, I speak at conferences all over the world. The underlying message is, Kev, how do we lead ourselves out of crisis? How do we get out of a difficult situation? And that absolutely is about having that clarity of vision, engaging the team, inviting the team, and inspiring the team to come with us on the journey to build something that's incredible. And that's where I start. And I start with a passion. I start by letting people see that I care about this. This is not just a job for me. I'm in this with the rest of the team. Now let's go and deliver something extraordinary.
I love that. I love the passion piece. I love the alignment of purpose piece. I love including people and bringing them along with you along the journey piece. Like all of that. Like that's what people want, right? When they show up to work, they want to do something that matters. They want to do something like they want to be included in something that matters. They want to be involved. They want their voice to be heard. All of those things that you just described. And usually when a team is not functioning, usually when you have a low performance environment, a low performance culture, usually when there's toxicity, any of those things, when things aren't running on all cylinders, people aren't engaged, they're not happy, they're not passionate, they're usually they don't feel psychologically safe, they don't feel like they can really show up and do their best work. And a lot of times they're just kind of biding their time. They're showing up, kind of putting their heads down, doing the bare minimum.
Sure.
They're probably looking for their next job. They're just kind of they're in self-protection mode, usually.
Yeah, and often they're scared. They're
Yeah.
frightened because
Hmm.
I said a minute ago, people are not stupid. People know when the business is running badly. And if you can engage those people, align those people to that common goal, then you can invite people to give their best work. You can't take people's best work. They have to want to give it. And I've worked in a number of companies, and you look around and the company is dysfunctional. But I've never met anybody who wants to do a bad job, actually wants to do a bad job. Now, I've met a lot of people who are doing a bad job, but that's because they don't know what's expected of them. They haven't been invited to contribute. And I believe the knowledge is in the team. And I'll give you a couple of examples. So the Porsche example, I was appointed, I'd been in that business for 5 years, and I was watching the business fall apart around me. And they asked me would I run the company. And I was more surprised than anybody, frankly, that they asked me to do it. But when I got the team together, the answers were in the team, and we were in a terrible position. We had 3 years unsold new car inventory. We were hiding cars everywhere. We were losing 20% on every car we sold. And out of 32 brands in the marketplace, in a premium sector, we were number 32 for customer satisfaction. We're in a right mess. Now, what we did was everything I've spoken about, a clarity of vision, align people, inspire people, because we're committed to achieving this. This is where we're going. We're absolutely committed. And when I asked the team, what does success look like? It wasn't about the financials. They're the score. They're not the game. The game was to provide a world-class experience to Porsche owners. And so the team said to me, Kev, we need to be number one for customer satisfaction. I said, right, I don't know how to get there. We don't know how to get there, but we've got a lot of ideas. Let's make it happen. And over the next 4 years, with the same team of people, we went from number 32 to number one. We were number one for 2 years. And we went from losing 20% on sales to making 20% on sales. But the financials were the result of treating our clients well, of creating an extraordinary experience of the Porsche brand. You know, when people come to buy a car like that, they're not buying transportation. You don't need a Porsche for transport. You can buy a Golf. It's a great car. Go drive a Golf. What they were looking for was an experience. And so we created that experience. And I did similarly. I was asked to run a boat manufacturing company. I know nothing about boats. Super yacht. They were manufacturing super yachts, and the business had been in losses for 10 years, and the banks were holding the keys. Now, banks are great at being banks. They're not great at running boat companies. And they asked me to go in there and have a look at it. And I got the team together, and the passion was extraordinary. And they were so angry that the leadership didn't let them make the changes that they knew needed to be made to take the business back to where it should be. And so I invited them with a structured, very organized, to bring their ideas so that they owned the journey. The team, 1,300 people, owned the journey. And we got that business back in profit in 14 months. Now, the profit was only the result of pleasing our customers again, of building great boats, of improving the quality, of 1,000 other things that we changed within 400 days. But we changed it. They changed it. The team changed it. So to me, it's about inviting the team to come and build something that's world class. And I talk about world class. And when I speak at conferences all over the world about leadership in crisis, about going to be something that's extraordinary, it is about engaging the hearts and the minds, because you want the ideas of the team. They want to do a good job. Give them the opportunity to do it.
So you mentioned something a minute ago about, I guess I would put it as unlocking that discretionary effort of individuals. Like if you really want top performance
Yeah,
of individuals, um, like you can't like carrot and stick that, right? Like you can't force that out of anybody.
no,
You can try to incentivize great performance, you can give good salaries, you can provide a bonus, you can create good incentive structures, you can have a nice environment, all these things, right? But ultimately, the only way that someone's really going to achieve their potential and really give their best and do like really just great work, the only way that's really going to happen is when they stop just like showing up and just, doing the minimum and just like, just doing the job to actually like showing up and just like being engaged, getting into their flow state, being passionate, and just like giving their discretionary effort towards the work that they're doing because they love it, because they're passionate about it, because it's
yeah,
just something they want to do. Like they're
sure,
voluntarily giving more of themselves to their
sure,
job because they want to, right?
sure.
Like how do you create that like that pull to to where someone like again you're not carrot and sticking that out of somebody
No,
so
no, you
you
won't.
certainly like I can't if I can't force that, like how do I create that environment to where like someone is just giving that.
Yeah. So go back to what I said a moment ago. You can't demand people's best work. People have to want to give it. And what that means is that they're inspired. And I believe inspiration is very different to motivation. I can motivate you today. It's easy. I give you a $20,000 pay rise and you're motivated for a month or 2 months or 3 months. But that goes away. That diminishes over time. Inspiration is the other way around. Inspiration grows over time. And inspiration is when we invite people on the journey. We create the opportunity for them to really make a difference, where they can see that their ideas are taken, are welcomed, and are implemented in the business. And so I have tools that I use, ideas wall and a war room, weekly action review room, where we look Very simply, very simple controls, but we let people see how their ideas make a difference. And it's about authority, giving people the authority to make a difference. It's also about accountability. I give you the authority to bring your idea forward. I welcome it. I invite it. But you own the accountability then for making it work or pointing out it doesn't work. And if it doesn't work, that's fine. That's part of the journey. Too many, in my experience, too many leaders are afraid of making a mistake. If you're
Yeah.
not making a mistake, you're not pushing hard enough. You have to push to the point where something either goes really well or, you know what, it doesn't work. Well, that's fine. Let's back off. Let's understand what didn't work. Let's adjust and let's go again. Because the whole process of developing and building a world-class culture and a world-class organization is recognizing we have to push beyond. We have to go further. We have to be brave. It's about courage. And so I break it down to three pieces. The first is commit. Let's absolutely commit to what we're going to achieve. And let's set that goal big. This is not incremental change. Tomorrow is not today plus a bit. Tomorrow is significantly different. So let's not be afraid to recognize that and look at a big goal. So first is commit. The second is connect. And that's connecting everybody to that plan, to that vision of success, letting them realize that they make a real difference. Your job makes a difference. So when I employ you, I employ all of you. And that includes the top 10%, this head thing, which is full of a brain, and you have experience, you have knowledge, and I invite you to use that. Because my job as a leader is not to be a genius. My job as a leader is to connect people. They say everybody's 5% genius. Everybody. Okay, Einstein was 65%, but everyone's 5% genius. So for every 20 people I can get working together to that same committed goal, I've got 20 times 5 equals 100% genius. So my job isn't to be a genius, it's to be a genius creator. So that's the connect piece. And then the create piece is creating magic. And you just said the flow state. That's when people are really in it and they're having fun and they can
Yeah.
see their ideas are working. And I often say on a Sunday night, instead of thinking, oh, work tomorrow, they think, fantastic, I'm going in, and that project that we are driving that is changing our world, I'm going to get stuck into that. And it's exciting, it's fun, and we should make it fun. And that's how you get people to go the extra mile. You stretch them. When they're successful, you recognize them. You never catch people out, you catch people in. And the difference there is when it goes wrong, too many leaders think, oh, it's clever. I noticed it went wrong and I stepped in and rah, rah, rah. No, no, no. When it goes wrong, we have a quiet conversation about it. We get the team together. We talk about how it didn't achieve what we wanted to achieve. We learn from that investment. That's an investment of effort, exercise, inspiration. We learn from that investment. We back off. We go a slightly different way. That's catching people in. Catching people out, you don't do. That's when you make an example of somebody where it went wrong. And the first thing that humans do is they say, you know what, Kev, if you're going to embarrass me, do it on your own next time.
Hmm.
I'll just stay quiet. And that's when it all falls apart. So you catch people in, don't catch people out. And people are incredible. They will give you amazing results. Be surprised what happens. And it's fun for everybody. Even leading in a crisis is exciting. It's fun because you can push the boundaries and you can invite people to come on the journey. You can invite people to dare to dream about what could be possible here.
Yeah. And it's that exploration, that dream, that is exciting. And I get like different people, different personalities. Not everyone is, necessarily pie in the sky, like that's how I am, like so as you're saying all this, I'm like, oh, I just long to be in that kind of environment with working with those sorts of people. And I get it. Like not everyone necessarily is longing for the same exact kind of thing, the same exact kind of environment. But I do believe that everyone wants to work in an environment where they feel needed, wanted, valued, supported, where they have an opportunity to do their best work and where it's interesting, where it's fun. And regardless of the type of work they do, regardless of the industry, regardless of, you know, the role and the level that they're at, like I think there are those commonalities that everyone wants, right? And nobody wants to do boring work. Nobody wants to do mundane work. Nobody wants to do, work that, is just repetitive and easily replaceable. Like people want to do things that matter, that are going to make a difference. And so you start to find these commonalities across, you know, different different types of occupations, different types of roles, different types of jobs, different types of tasks. And and you start to unlock this fun piece. And recognizing fun can be different for different people, right? But you start to unlock this fun piece and you give people permission to have fun in what they're
Yeah,
doing, right? And
exactly that. Exactly.
and that's where all of a sudden, yeah, you just you unlock the potential for people to hit that flow state, for people to just tap into something a little bit different than maybe what they're used to tapping into. And and that's where the sky's the limit. And it just becomes so exciting and it's remarkable when you see an individual or when you see a team functioning at that level in comparison to what we all often experience, on a more regular basis, where it's kind
Yeah.
of drudgery, where people are just kind of showing up, clocking in, clocking out, like doing the minimum, like that. We've all experienced that, right? It's more of a rarity when you see people operating at this higher level, like you're describing. Um, and I hope everyone has that opportunity to experience it though, because it truly is remarkable and it's exhilarating. And instead of getting depleted by your work, you get like energized by your work. And it's just awesome. Like you just come away, you do still get tired. And by the end of the day, you may feel exhausted, but intellectually you're energized and you're excited to go back. You're excited to go back the next day and
Yeah.
do more.
And you know what? I still live in the same area that Porsche is based. And so we went through some torrid times. I mean, part of it was really very, very difficult. And we worked long hours, we worked weekends and for no pay. This was really tough times. I still see those people in the street and hey Kev, how's it going? Have a chat. And they always say the same thing. Hey, do you remember when? And the
Mm.
bits they remember were when we were fighting. The bits that they don't remember when it got kind of relatively easy, because frankly, at that point, I started to get a bit bored and I quit and I went and joined BMW because I wanted another big challenge. But people still remember the excitement and the passion and the creativity that we developed and displayed when we were fighting our way out of the hole. Because everybody counted, everybody's every minute counted, and people were impassioned by that. They felt that they were really part of something special, and they were. And so, people have said to me it was the best 5 years of their life, and that's great because we had a super result. But we had a super result because we worked together and we built a world-class team. And some of the executives from there now, I still see them. They're out in the wider world. My right-hand man now is chairman and chief exec of Aston Martin. People have gone on to big roles, and they've taken with them this experience that they learned in very challenging times.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. Kevin, this has just been a great conversation. I know at the time I need to let you go, but I know we could go on for forever. Before we wrap things up for today, I just wanted to give you a chance to share with the audience how they can connect with you, find out more about your work. Give us the final word for today.
Sure. Listen, kevingaskell.com is my website. You can contact me through there. You'll find me on LinkedIn, Kevin Gaskell. A couple of my books are out there, and I'd love to hear from people. And as I mentioned a couple of times, I enjoy speaking to audiences and helping people who feel that they're in difficult times and helping leaders to lead through crisis and build something that's world class. So, love to hear from you.
Wonderful. Kevin, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. I encourage the audience to reach out, to get connected, find out more about what Kevin can do for you. Check out his books, check out his speaking, his website. And as always, I hope everyone can stay healthy and safe. They can find meaning and purpose at work each and every day. And I hope you all have a great week.